Hey everybody, welcome into another episode of the WTH Podcast. My name is Nate, that is Jason, and the guy in the little box over there is Kareem. Glad you could make it.
He loves to be in a little box.
Right? I mean, what man doesn't?
Who doesn't? I mean, well, heterosexual man.
Well, I mean, I've heard a lot of different things. I'm not going to get into that. If you really want to go back and listen to the episodes when Larry was on the show.
About it,
yeah. Talking about things like boy pussy.
Oh, yeah.
How far? We're less than a minute in, and I've said boy pussy.
I forgot about that, man. I forgot about boy pussy.
Did you? How can you?
Pussy.
Because it's something like I've grown up.
Yeah, but for people in a certain community, that's their thing. That's what they want to. That's
right. But as a heterosexual male, when I say
why are you being homophobic about it?
I'm not being.
Why are you making boy pussy weird?
Because it's just a weird concept to me.
Jason made boy pussy weird, Kareem.
Jason's a homophobe.
You know it. Don't cancel me yet.
No.
Got more.
I always knew it.
Wait until you hear me fart with my ass live on the air in a few minutes.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Door's open. You can head out if you need. Coming up on the show today, no fucking idea. Seriously, no idea. These guys have no show prep for me because there was no official show prep this week. We did a bunch last week. I've got a bunch of stuff that we've been sending back and forth on Twitter of people refusing to wear a mask, people.
It's the same news every day. It's the same thing.
It is, and I'm exhausted of it. And I have a story to tell about last week. And next week will not be here, and we'll get into that a little bit too. And we'll talk to you guys about your weeks and everything else that's been going on. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to rush through and just throw together something. If I'm going to rush through and throw something together, we might as well just talk about what we're going to talk about and have a show.
Let's do it.
That's what we're going to do. So welcome in.
Hey, we're doing it.
Welcome in. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, that's fantastic. Let me throw the comments over there in case we need to see them. And we will do that way. So coming to you live from Darling New Media, Jason and I are. Kareem is from one of his many homes. Not many homes. Kareem, he's in the process of moving. No, Kareem just started a new job, and he's now got multi-homes. So that's it. Let's start with you, Kareem. You're joining us from home again. So let's talk about why that is and why you'd rather be segregated from Jason and I than here with us.
Do I stink that bad?
Man, so we're in the process of moving out of our house, our rental, into my mom's house because she moved back to Panama. Okay. And she wanted us to move in her house because she didn't trust anybody else to live there.
Stone Cold Steve Austin once said, DTA, don't trust anybody.
Yes, that was pretty much her. And, after going back and forth with her for, I guess it felt like forever, probably about 6 months, she finally made up her mind to go back to Panama. And, one of the conditions of her going back was that we would move into the house. So we finally got everything cleared out of her house. The guys finishing up the showers because we had to demo out the bathrooms. And we should be moved in by next week this time.
Excellent.
Nice.
And then the only thing we'll have to do over here is, well, because we had access to both houses, I was like, well, there's no point in taking shit over to the new house that we're not going to keep. And we have this house until the 15th of December. So I'm only taking the stuff that I know I want over there. And then like the next couple of weeks, I'll spend time clearing out this one of the stuff that I'm not going to keep. Like I got a bunch of books that I read when in my 20s, but I know I'm not going to read them again. So I'm going to get rid of those.
Right.
Use those plastic containers to put books in that I'm going to read or going to keep, or other stuff that I'm going to keep. You don't realize how much shit you have accumulated until you get ready to move.
Oh, fucking
right,
man.
Dude,
it's absolutely awful.
My mom had she has a 3-bedroom house.
Okay.
She had 3 bedrooms with her clothes in it. Literally every closet had clothes that were hers in it. We found shit in the garage that she hadn't even opened. That still had tags on it. We found a fucking wedding present that was wrapped in everything that she never gave to whoever was supposed to get it.
Oh, that's cool. Score.
Right? Here's what I'm seeing in Kareem's future. Yard sale.
Yeah.
Yes. So we donated a bunch of stuff to Weave and to Habitat for Humanity.
Perfect. That's the write-off.
So we donated
thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars of stuff.
Like a house full of shit.
Yes.
Oh, man, that's tough.
Yeah. And it's like I said, so, this week I've got most of the stuff that I'm taking. Only thing pretty much I got left is my computer desk and my bed. I do have another shitload of books to go through. But I'm not taking, like I said, I'm not taking all of those with me. So
it's a weird phenomenon. Like, I don't know, like something about old people, but people in the older age, like there's 2 types. Like, so I feel like there's the ones that like let go of stuff really easily and are almost minimalist, and then there's ones that like have every corner of their house filled with every piece of bric-a-brac, like everything. It's just all over, right? I mean, it's just there's 2 extremes. By that time in your life, you've gone one way or the other.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and it's funny. I'm sort of in a weird position where I was collecting stuff. I never had more than a 1-bed. Well, no, I did have a 2-bedroom apartment for a bit, but for the most part, 1-bedroom apartments. And when I moved in with my now wife, I got rid of a ton of stuff, and I still had way more stuff than there was room for. And feels like I've been doing nothing but getting rid of stuff for the past 6 years. And I still need to get rid of more stuff because now we've got 2 kids. Yeah. And the stuff just keeps getting more and more because they've got stuff. And Leslie had friends that came into town this past weekend, and we went out to dinner, and they brought stuff for the kids, which was incredibly thoughtful, very, very nice. But now the kids have more stuff, and it's like, and Christmas is coming.
Oh,
we tell everybody, like, no, like we try to like tell people no toys for the girls. Like, it seems like we're being assholes, but really, like, they get toys. Like, they still have a grandfather that always buys them all kinds of toys. Right. We still get them, if you think, like, throughout the year. They don't need like a huge wave.
My daughter has. I'm sorry, Kareem. But my daughter sleeps with. I've lost count how many stuffed animals, and they all have to be there. And now there's another one that is part. Willard is the new one. Willard now has to sleep there. Now, here's the other thing. Zeke is 8 months old now, and Zeke is getting to the point where he's grabbing stuff and he's being part of stuff, and he wants to hold stuff. So just before I came in tonight, he was bucking around. I made the comment that he's riding a bull. And Leslie goes, "Oh," she goes, "Come here, buddy." And we've got an inflatable cow that we bought at the farmer's market when Sam was like 7 months old. And she has shown virtually no interest in this thing at all.
Until
we put Zeke on it, and he's throwing himself around. Leslie's just holding him so he doesn't fall off, but he's just bucking away and having a great old time. And then she wants to get on it.
Of course.
And all she does, because she's a maniac, is she bounces on it for literally 2.5 seconds and then throws herself face first off of it. and we have video of this, so it's quite a scene. Now, I'm sorry, Kareem, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, because I was getting ready to tell you both. Guess what? I'm going to add to the stuff next month.
Oh. Kareem found some stuff to give us.
I am adding to both of y'all's stuff next month.
I was like, my girls have like knockdown, drag down fights, like clawing at each other, rolling around. Like CJ bit Alma like on the cheek like on like drawing like almost drawing blood. Like they are maniacs to each other.
Like would get sent home for that.
Yeah, would get sent home for sure.
Animals.
It doesn't happen that often that it gets that bad. But I mean, we generally let them settle it because if we don't let them do it now, they'll be doing this in 10 years. They'll be doing this in 10 years. You know what I mean? Like,
they'll still be doing it in 10 years.
But they'll have a better. I think that they'll have a better handle on, like, hopefully. But it's funny, like you talk about all the stuffies that our girls, like, no matter. I've tried to get them into stuffies. Like I bought, like CJ and I watched all the.
Please don't call them stuffies. It
Stuffed
makes it sound
animals.
dirty. Thank you. Stuffies sounds like a convention where
that's what like my nephews call it stuffies, so that's why I called it.
Oh, okay.
Stuffed animals.
Thank you.
Our kids. I got these ones from the Airbender, like Last Airbender. It's a cartoon on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
We watched CJ and I watched all of them last year, and I bought her stuffies, like stuffed animals last year, special ones made for her. She doesn't sleep with them. What I do get in an argument with her about is she's only allowed to have 3 books in bed with her when she goes to sleep. Is she reads books.
Right. Well, your kids have beds, so mine still has a crib, so she's not allowed books in bed.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. The stuffed animals thing, that's cute. I wouldn't mind them being into stuffed animals.
I don't either, but it takes up the entirety of
Bed.
the whole thing. Like, literally all you can see when you look down from the camera is her hair.
You have to get one of those nets to put the stuffed animals in eventually. Like.
We'll see how that works, because there's
hanging from it. Like,
there's a top 3 seed that have to be in there. Like, she's got to know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
One is Snoopy, who she refers to as Dog. Then there's Horse, which she refers to as and then the Lion, which she just goes rawr. So those are the top 3 seeds. Now the Lion is bigger than her, but still in the bed. So it's crazy, and so that's what life's like at my house. So last week we didn't
hashtag stuffies.
Right. Please don't. So last week, Monday night, I wasn't feeling great, and and there was stuff going on at home. And by stuff, I mean Leslie and I were having a bit of a thing. Keith is hashtag stuffies.
That's what I said.
No,
Yeah, that's what you said. That's why I said it.
And I wasn't feeling great on Monday, so I called off. I was like, let's not do the show, because I was just like, I'm not really feeling up to it, and I thought that was the end of it. And then Tuesday came in, did podcast stuff here at Darling New Media. Tuesday night, have dinner, finish up dinner, and I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling like a bit of pressure, but I'm thinking I finished dinner, I'm gassy, and I'm getting a headache. And I'd had a low-grade headache for a few days. But that happens. It was a tension headache, so I wasn't thinking much of it. And I'm sitting there in my chair, and we're watching shows and stuff like that. And I've got my Apple Watch on, and I'm checking my pulse, and it's running higher than it normally does. And I'm like, okay, so I do some deep breathing stuff to try and get it down. It's not really going down. So I'm like, and I'm not feeling great. So I take my temperature, and it's just a smidge high, not crazy at this point. This is like 8:30. So about the time we would have been mid to end of show. And a little bit later, I'm still feeling really bad. So, I'm going to take my blood pressure. And my blood pressure was pretty high. And I'm like, well, that's not good. I need to try and, relax, calm down. I'm going to do some more deep breathing. I'm going to do this. Take my temperature again. My temperature is now 100. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not good. So I'm like, I'm just going to try and calm down. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to, I think I made myself a cup of mint tea to try and just relax. And it's 10 o'clock now, and Leslie has decided it's time for her to go to bed, and I don't feel good at all. It's getting worse. The headache is getting worse. It feels like literally there is a wire going around my head back to below the base of my skull. It's just being tightened and tightened and tightened. And I've got this pressure in my chest. Not pain, and sort of like gas, but it's a pressure in the chest. And I take my blood pressure, and it is 171/116, which is high.
Yeah.
And I Google that, and it says, go see a doctor immediately. And because it's been getting worse, and now my temperature is 100.5. And because it's 10 o'clock at night, and because I'm like, I don't want to go to bed and die,
That would not be good.
Right? So I'm like, I hate to do this, Leslie, but I think I need to go to the hospital. So she goes and gets her dad so he can hang out. His kids are in bed, but make sure and she brings me to the hospital. And because it's COVID, when you go to the ER, no one can stay with you until you get admitted to a room. So she goes outside. She's like, well, how long should I wait? I go, you should go home. And she goes, well, I'm going to wait for a little bit. Anyway, they bring me in, and because I'm having chest pains, they bring me right to the back and they do a blood test, and they do a variety of different things. And my headache is getting worse, and now my temperature is 101, and my blood pressure is still 171/116 when I get there. And so it's blood test, it's EKG, it's what else? We did a CT scan. We did chest x-rays. We did a contrast MRI. Then they sent me back out to the lobby to wait. And the blood guy said, oh, we'll be doing another blood test in an hour because we want to check back with that. Oh, they also did COVID and flu tests. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in the lobby, and I just feel like death. And I forgot my AirPods, so I can't listen to a podcast or anything. I'm just there. And there's this dude who is just yelling up a storm about nothing. And the acoustics at the Sutter emergency room are magnificent. They echo like a mother. They're all over the place. Meanwhile, my head is killing me. Finally, I go up and I go, I'm sorry, I hate to be a bother, but my headache is just awful. And they gave me 2 Tylenol for my temperature, by the way.
Yeah.
In the back, I forgot. In the back, they did give me an IV with Motrin and a muscle relaxer for the tension headache. It wasn't helping yet. Like, it did not help. And anyway, I'd say fast forward, but there's no fast forward to this, because this is when you're in the emergency room, time moves slowly. And
the only thing that gets you through, like, for me, as many times as I've been there, is knowing that I will eventually be out of there.
Right.
That's the only thing that gets you through.
But when your head feels like mine did, and there's a dude yelling.
Oh, yeah.
At one point, he made a video about how it wasn't fair. And he was going on. He didn't let on for like 6 or 8 minutes about how he's been yelling for help and no one will come help him. And he's outside the bathroom and they won't move him and he can't get to the. It's like, oh, my God. I'm just sitting there going, if you don't like it, you can leave. Wheel yourself to UC Davis. Wheel yourself over to Mercy. Go, leave. I don't care.
Elsewhere.
I don't care. Just go. COVID negative. Influenza negative. Blood test negative.
So you have no blood?
EKG. EKG is fine. Chest x-ray negative. Contrast MRI is fine. No idea other than to say there has been some sort of virus that's going around. They say it's viral. It's not COVID. It's not the flu, but it is viral. And one of the big telltale signs is the headache. And the nurse said, we've been seeing quite a bit of this with the headache. And I said, so why did my blood pressure spike? And she goes, oh, probably the amount of pain you were in.
Yeah.
So that was last week for me.
Nice.
Went in at 10, called Leslie at 3:30 in the morning to say, hey, they're discharging me.
And you say,
Yeah, she's like, let me go see if I can get my dad up, which took a little bit, but he came over again at 3:30 in the morning. So thank you, Dennis, because that was a big thing to be doing that. And I got home about 4 a.m. And all they said was, they gave me, the prescription they gave me was for 600 milligram Motrins.
Oh, wow.
And they said, go home, get some rest, and drink fluids, and take some Motrin. That was what I got.
Nice.
I went home, went to bed. I literally slept almost all of Wednesday, virtually all of Wednesday. I was just asleep.
Wow.
And then Thursday, I was sort of functional. I was probably about 65%. It was Friday morning before my headache finally went away. My favorite moment after getting out of the ER was when I went to so I drop off my prescription. Now, my prescription is for literally a bottle of 600 milligram ibuprofen. And I go to the drive-thru at the Walgreens in West Sac, which is literally the worst drugstore on earth. But there's a drive-thru.
Did they tell you that you'd have to come inside to get...
Oh, no. No. They told me my prescription should be ready in about 2 hours. And I just want to go, roll your happy ass back there, throw some pills in a bottle, and bring them to the counter. But that's not how it works. Anyway, I go back, and of course, now again, I have to wait in line at the drive-thru. I could go inside, but no. I'd still have to wait in line inside too. But the pharmacist intern is the one who comes up, and they have to ask this because they have to ask about prescription medications if you have questions, stuff like that. And the question I was asked was, so this is a prescription for Motrin, that's ibuprofen. Have you taken that before? And it was literally all I could do to just say, yes, I have. And not say, I'm 51 years old. Yes, I've taken ibuprofen. What the fuck? That's what I wanted to say. But I was like, no, yeah, I've taken it. Okay. And then she does this. So if you're watching, this is good. She goes, well, you've taken it before, so you know it can upset your stomach. And she rubs her stomach like this, like I don't know what it would be. And she says, so it might be better if you take it with food. So,
oh God.
So yeah, this all happened it was several days after I got my third COVID booster shot. So it wasn't reaction to the COVID booster shot. It's a different thing. So it's a viral thing that's going around. If you get it, I'm sorry. If you go to the emergency room, it's going to be a lot of this. I mean, it's good that I got the full workup, so I know I'm not going to, as fearful as I was on the way over that I might possibly die. I'm not going to die. Can't say the same for Kareem.
David said he had it.
Yeah, I see that. He says 90% sure that's what he went through. Yeah, I saw that. I talked to him. I talked to him yesterday. He's in the comments on Facebook, and he had been out of work for 10 days, whereas I missed. I missed 1 day of work, so that means I'm 10 times the man. Ha 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 ha! I'm just kidding. I also run my own business and don't work for somebody else, but
yeah. And you have kids.
I do have kids who, thankfully, knock on wood, did not get sick. They're fine. Yeah. They're both doing great. So that was the saga from last week, and probably just as well that we all didn't gather together in this room Monday night, because if it was viral, then Jason would have probably been at the emergency room the next night.
It takes a lot to get to the emergency room.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the people at the Sutter ER were really, I mean, they were good. They're dealing with a ton of people, a ton of craziness, and it was at one point they actually thanked me. They said, "Thank you so much for just being so pleasant to deal with," and I said, "It's not that big a deal." And they're like, "No, you don't understand. It's really hard when you don't feel good like that to not take it out on us." Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's right. People take it out on them all the time. All the time. So anyway, that was it. That's why I didn't prep a regular show, because I had tales from the ER.
Tales from the ER.
So yeah, it's a scary fucking thing when you go in, when you have that feeling like in the back of your head. And the only other time I have ever felt like that was right after my 21st birthday. And I drove myself to the ER in Plattsburgh, New York, with a temperature of 104.
Holy shit.
104 on a Sunday. Now, on Sunday in Plattsburgh, New York, there's no pharmacies open, so I couldn't get at any actual prescriptions until the next day.
Nice.
Yeah. So that said, screw you, Plattsburgh, New York.
I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty lucky that I have asthma.
Sure are.
Because there's a kid, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, there was a kid that died in a Kaiser emergency room from an asthma attack, because he wasn't let in quick enough to get medication that would save his life.
Man.
So after that happened, I've never had to really wait, because I always go. The only reason I ever go in for the ER is because of my asthma, because I can't breathe.
Right.
That's the only reason I go in there. So I usually go there, and I'm in within 10, 15 minutes, usually back on a machine, getting trying to like giving me a shot, whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
So I can, like, I don't die. But so I've not had to really worry or deal with, that side of it, because I hate it. Like Chris, I've had to deal with it with Chris a little bit. But it sucks, dude.
Do you go through Kaiser now?
No. We have UC Davis now.
Okay.
I have the UC Davis now.
Oh, so right down the road from you.
Yeah, that's why I said it'd take a lot for me to have to go to the I'd have to be like almost like my blood pressure would have to be high for a day.
Well, if it were just the blood pressure.
Yeah, it was everything combined.
And not the splitting headache and the
I would have been
chest
fucking
pain.
freaked out.
Yeah, I was freaked the fuck out.
I've gotten too high for myself a night or two in my life since having where I've like
for the record, that is not what happened.
No, but it's like the thing is though, is once you start having like I don't want to say anxiety attack, but like once you start getting into like a certain headspace, it's almost like works on top of each other, at least that's it. So like all of a sudden, like, oh my god! But like I'm looking at my pulse and it's one thing, and all of a sudden it's like at 130, and it's like I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here looking at my pulse, and I'm freaking out all of a sudden.
Yeah, my pulse was never that high. It wasn't my pulse wasn't a problem.
Yeah,
it wasn't like crazy, but normally my resting pulse is like 55 to 65.
Yeah,
I could not get it below 85. So that's I mean, it's not crazy, but if it were just that, I would have been like, all right, whatever. It was just there were just too many things. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And when you Google something and the first response, immediately seek medical attention.
Blood pressure is something you don't want to fuck with.
And my mom had a massive stroke.
Oh yeah.
My dad has had a stroke. Strokes run in my family. So I'm just thinking,
fuck with it.
No, you cannot fuck with the idea. If you're in any chance where you might be having a stroke, get to a fucking medical facility immediately.
Yeah, and if you had exhibited any of the symptoms of a stroke when you got there, they would have had you back there right away.
They had me back there right away because I was having chest pressure.
Oh yeah, there you go. See,
yeah.
So,
I was having chest pressure. They took me back literally as soon as they checked me in. They brought me back. They triaged me. They did all of the tests, and then they sent me back out to wait with the huddled masses.
That's what I don't usually. I don't usually have to go back to the huddled masses.
Oh no, I had to go back out there and wait with them on the hard chairs with the no AirPods. And again, that was my biggest mistake, was not taking the extra 10 seconds to find those fucking things, because to be able to sit and just casually listen to your favorite podcast.
It's a rookie move. It's a rookie move.
It really is.
Nate, it's a rookie move, man.
I was at one point, I'm like, Leslie was ready to go, and I'm like, I can't be like, well, I'm afraid I'm going to die, but hold on. I need my AirPods.
Yeah, no, I know. If I'm going to the ER, I pick up a book and make sure I have my.
You have a go bag?
Pretty much.
An ER go bag?
I just know. I mean, there was a time, like, I used to go every single year at least once. At least once. Like, so I'm glad you're okay, because if you had died. it would have been a completely different podcast today.
It really would. It would have been totally different. The in memoriam. Well, especially since I'm the only one who knows how to upload it. So
Yeah.
it would be.
I figured it out after 3 or 4 days.
Well, Kareem has access. He'd be able to stream it. So we'd be able to stream it on Facebook. You can do it in memoriam. Yeah, I'm better now, thankfully. But yeah, it was just fucking awful. It was just fucking awful. And I feel for anybody. And the worst part is you're sitting there and it's like, is it COVID? And everybody's like, is it COVID?
Yeah.
And you forget there's a bunch of shit out there that is not as deadly as COVID, but is really fucking unpleasant.
Yeah, I had a sinus infection, and that's what I'm still dealing with. And they made me wait a week to give me the antibiotics for it. And I'm like, bitch, I know what it is. Like, it's a sinus infection.
We could knock this shit. I get one every year. We could knock this shit out immediately.
Yeah, like, give me the antibiotics. But no, I had to wait until Friday. So I had to wait a whole week for it. And then I woke up and I was coughing. And I was like, the only thing that's bothered me is that nasty back of your throat cough from that sinus drainage.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, come on. I was like, I know what the fuck it is. Just give me the antibiotics. And then I think I sent them a message like at 7:30, and they finally got back to me like at noon. Like, please be patient with us. We're having a high volume of clients. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
I will say this, around here, one of the greatest things, if you're sick during the day, are all of the Sutter walk-in clinics that they've put literally everywhere. They're everywhere. So if you're not feeling well, because to get an appointment with my primary care physician, it's like almost a month wait to get in to see her. So everybody is super busy. You don't want to go your urgent care is a pain. You don't want to go to the ER. The only reason we went to the ER is 10 o'clock at night. There was no other option.
Right.
But these Sutter walk-in clinics, man, they're fucking great. They're small, they're I mean, they don't necessarily have a doctor, but they've got like nurse practitioners and other healthcare professionals. So if you walk in and you need something like Kareem needed, you can get seen, you can get what you need taken care of without this whole, I mean, if they got to send you somewhere else, they will. But when I got a call from my friend Jason Knight, when he got COVID after his trip to Vegas, and we had talked in my driveway, and he goes, I just found out that I got COVID. I was over in the parking lot at the Target in West Sac, and I immediately went over, walked in, got a COVID test, and got the result the next day. Whereas otherwise, it's like, well, what do I do? And just because, and not that this podcast is sponsored by Sutter, although come on board. And even though Darling New Media does a ton of work for UC Davis Health, come on board. That is one of the greatest things ever, because it makes that access to healthcare really easy. And that's a huge impediment, because a lot of people don't go, even people with insurance don't go, because it's such a pain in the ass.
We literally have one of those on the other side of my office.
Right?
Like if I could walk through the wall in my office, I would be walking into one.
What they did was they made them incredibly convenient. And I mean, the only thing that would be better is if we actually had universal health care where anybody wouldn't have to worry about having to pay for it if they were not, quote unquote, privately insured. That would be the only thing that would make it even better, or to be able to do that. But anyway, sorry. So that's the heavy part of what we're talking about. What have you guys been watching on TV? Because there's a lot of really good shows. Dexter is back, and I haven't watched it yet. Leslie wants to go back and rewatch some of the older Dexter episodes before we do that. So we're going to do that. And of course, when you have kids, watching Dexter can be a bit of a challenge. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of other shows that we watch. Do you guys watch Yellowstone?
No, I've not gotten into that.
Okay, so last week, all of a sudden, all over my Facebook feed, like Yellowstone blew up. It was like the season premiere of Yellowstone, and it just blew. It's like everywhere, and even Kevin Fontana's wife
Oh, yeah.
posts on Facebook. She goes, I've never heard of this show, and now it's everywhere on my feed. And I'd heard of it. I just hadn't watched it.
Right.
So I went back. I've now gone back and watched the first 2 episodes of Yellowstone. It's incredibly violent. It's incredibly, it's weird. It's almost like Bonanza meets The Sopranos in Montana.
Yeah.
With Kevin Costner as the lead. And I mean, violent as shit. Violent as shit this show is. And
I've watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah, it's pretty well done. So we're watching that in addition to all the reality stuff. But what are you and Christine watching?
Well, real quick, the prequel to that's coming out. I'm not sure if it's a movie. I think it's a movie. It's coming out on Paramount Plus in the next couple of weeks or so. Gosh, what are we watching? Well, we also, I watched all of Dexter. I think when I broke my leg, I think I binged every episode of Dexter up to that point, and then after that, I stayed watching it.
Yeah, we've seen all of the first run of the series.
Chris hasn't.
Oh,
so we started watching those over again last night.
okay.
We are watching Secession.
Need to start watching that.
Yeah, so we watched that. That started, but that's a show that we usually watch with Alex also. So
Right.
we're on a hiatus while he's gone for the next 2 weeks. He's visiting family back in the East Coast.
Gotcha.
And then we're watching. Let's see, Great British Bake Off.
Okay.
I mean, that's a fun show. It's just
my wife loves that, and when she gets together with her mom, they watch it, they talk about it, that sort of thing.
I'm trying to think what did I recently? You know what I recently binged the whole season of in the last couple weeks was Billions.
I watched the first 2 seasons of that.
Yeah.
And it's a good show with really good actors that I like. For some reason, these shows on Showtime, it's so hard for me to pull myself into them.
Yeah, no, I can lose steam on them quick because Ray Donovan,
we were full in on Ray Donovan for the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, I watched 2 seasons of it, and then I didn't have Showtime, and I wasn't illegally downloading anymore.
What?
So I missed a bunch, and then I had Showtime again. I tried watching. I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into it at all whatsoever. So the only reason I think I've been able to finish Billions is because the momentum. Because I started it and I needed to finish it.
It needs to be a mission.
And by the time I got to probably the third season, the fourth season, it was definitely, there's a difference in it. It's there's a syndrome that certain shows get at a certain point where it's just what was that? Scandal. All right. Scandal's a perfect fucking example where you watch it and it has a really great premise and it's she's solving these crimes and not crimes, but these PR nightmares and shit. This is kind of cool. And then there's this underlying romance things and stuff like that. And then the characters keep doing the stupidest shit over and again, over and over and over again. So it's you get 2 or 3 good seasons of something. Then all of a sudden the characters keep making the same, how many times can you cheat with the fucking president? For 4 seasons? Come on. Come on!
People do that, Jason.
What's that?
People do that.
Fuck no. But no, I don't need to fucking watch the same thing over and over and over again. I like Big Mouth. Sorry, David. I really enjoy Big Mouth. I get the first 2 episodes. I fell in love with it, I think, maybe the second season. Once again, one of those mission things. I watched 2 seasons in a row.
I've not even heard of that show.
It's comes out of the mind of what's the guy with the glasses, the comedian, he's a youngish guy. God, I can't remember his name. It's a bunch of the Amy Poehler, generation of comedians. Yeah. So the guy from The League. Did you ever watch The League?
No.
Okay, never mind then. I didn't say it.
No, I've not. I have a lot of shit that I've missed that a lot of people watch, and for a variety of reasons. But
if you haven't seen Big Mouth and you like cartoons, there's something endearing about it. Eventually, if you can get past it, David say he watched them also.
Kareem, what are you and Barbara watching?
Not much because of moving.
Yeah.
So I've watched a little bit of stuff on Netflix, like how to be a tyrant.
There's so much stuff out there. There's a new documentary about January 6th.
Yeah.
And Leslie's like, that looks good, and I agree. It's just
Dope
Too
Sick.
close.
Dope Sick.
I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
watched that yet.
About
Yes.
the drug epidemic. I have not watched that either.
That is really good.
Hey, you mentioned sports really
Oh,
quick.
Only
Really quick.
Murders in the Building. Like,
Okay.
if you haven't watched it, that was
Have not yet.
really, really, really great.
Okay.
I would definitely say you watch that.
What the fuck is up with the NFL this year, Kareem? Because the Rams have acquired Odell Beckham Jr. and what's his name, the linebacker from Denver. They should be the best team in the league, and they got their asses handed to them by the 49ers tonight, 31-10, after the Niners could not beat Colt McCoy last week. What the fuck is happening in the NFL? The Bills lost to the Jaguars last week. The Browns kicked the shit out of the Bengals. Then immediately the following week got destroyed by the Patriots. What is happening?
Well, the thing with the NFL over almost every other league is parity.
Betting? It's the betting.
No, it's the parity.
It's when you think you got your betting dialed in. It's like, aha, they're really good. Oh, I'm putting everything on Buffalo to beat the Jaguars.
Yes, that is one of it.
Chris is so pissed about. Was it the Bills this last weekend? Like they
won this past weekend. It was the weekend before they lost to the Jaguars.
Weekend before they lost.
She was pissed. She was pissed.
They
about
lost
that.
9-6.
Yes,
6 points against one of the worst teams in the league.
That was just ridiculous. And
The
then
whole thing is crazy.
But like I said, that's the NFL is parity. You know, you every year, somebody comes out. A team is way better than you thought they were going to be.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 1 week a team looks like it's the best team in the world, and the next week they can't stop kicking themselves in the balls.
Well, look at the Chiefs this season.
Oh,
The Chiefs have been horrible.
Patrick Mahomes does not look like the same quarterback at all.
Well, Patrick Mahomes wasn't great in college. He was
I know.
He had some of that Johnny Manziel stuff going on in college. And
Johnny
then
Manziel.
he had that year to sit down, and then everybody's taking away everything deep from him, and he doesn't know how to adjust.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the other shit is just with free agency and the salary cap and how you can't necessarily keep a team together for so long. You end up with teams finally getting it together. Like, look, the Cowboys are, I think, 8-2 or 8-2 or 6-2 or something like that.
The Cowboys 1 week look like they're the best team in the NFL, and the next week it's like they just can't stop sitting on their own balls.
Yeah,
I mean,
which was last week and this week.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. The real lesson here is don't bet on sports.
Yes,
because you're gonna get fucked one way or another. You're getting fucked, and as soon as you think you got it figured out, everything's gonna go to shit for you.
Yeah. The Cardinals are the only team that's been consistent like the whole year. They lost yesterday, but they didn't have their quarterback, and they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins play at all yesterday. So
well, they didn't the week before either, and they beat the 49ers, who just kicked the shit out of the Rams.
Yes.
What the hell? I mean, I'm excited. I'm glad the Niners won. I'm a Niners fan, but it's absolute insanity. The other thing we're watching, of course, is reality shows, and I have to talk a little bit about these because the 90-day universe there's always a new one coming back. So 90 Day Fiance, The Single Life is back with another season, and
wait.
Yes,
90-day Single Life.
Yes, sir.
How does that show work?
Well, how that works is it's people who were on 90 Day Fiance
and then
who broke up. And now they're single and ready to mingle.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So they're just creating like they're just turning out their own.
And if you have Discovery Plus, which is where some of these shows are only on Discovery Plus. Some of these shows are not edited for content. So
Really?
Oh yeah. And there's a warning at the beginning. It's like, there's explicit whatever. I mean, you're not seeing. Well, I can't say you're not seeing because I saw 2 dudes getting out of the shower this week. But they don't edit out swear words and shit like that.
Oh,
so
nice.
On those, the ones that air on TLC, they do edit those. But
yeah, David, I missed the Red Shoe Diaries also. If you have HBO, they have HBO After Dark. Oh no, Showtime has Showtime After Dark.
It's all After Dark at this point.
I forgot about the Red Shoe Diaries.
Oh yeah, man, come on.
So much craziness. So next week is Thanksgiving week, and we will not be here as Leslie and I are going to Vegas, as we're going to tempt fate and go to Las Vegas for. I mean, we're going back to what it's a trip that Leslie did with her dad for quite a few years, was going to Vegas for Thanksgiving, and then I'm the interloper now. And on one of those trips, that's where I proposed in 2015. In 2016, we got married on Black Friday, so literally the same day the following year. And our anniversary, our 5th anniversary, falls on Thanksgiving, and we will be in Las Vegas for that. So that's where we're going to be next week. We fly out Tuesday morning, so Monday is like a pack and get shit together day, and I'm too old to be scattering around just to put out a show. Not that I don't love everyone who listens, because I do. But again, sort of like last week and today, I would rather do something that I think is fun and valuable rather than throwing something together just to throw it together. So we won't be here. What are we doing? We've got one of the big things we do. We go to, I think, it's either Wolfgang Puck's or Emerald's.
David, you just have to make sure you get separate mirrors now.
I forget.
If you do the Coke. You get your own mirror, your own
right,
Coke.
if you're doing Coke with Carrot Top. But we go to this one restaurant, and I forget if it's Emerald or if it's Wolfgang Puck. But it's because they make a banana cream pie that my father-in-law absolutely loves. So that's where we're going to be having our anniversary dinner. Another night we're doing, I forget the name of the restaurant. It's got 2 Michelin stars, and we're going there because that's something Leslie has always wanted to do, is have like a tasting at a place like that. And we did go to the kitchen here in Sacramento before they got their Michelin star, because they did get one.
Yeah.
So we have been to one. So this is sort of like because we haven't been anywhere in over 2 years. My last trip was October of 2019. I went to the Great American Beer Festival in Denver. And that's the last time I went anywhere. Literally, the last time I went anywhere to do anything. So very, very excited for that. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? I know Kareem's moving. Anything other than moving, what are you doing, Kareem?
I'm not doing shit because between.
Oh, so let me just say something. So we had a new podcast that came in here on Saturday, and I don't want to talk about who they are, what they are. They haven't launched yet, and the episode they recorded this past Saturday may never see the light of day. But I did hear one of them say, and I quote, "I don't need Thanksgiving. That's a white people holiday." And I was like, okay. The last thing I'm going to do is go, oh no, you have to celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm not Ted Cruz or anything here. Jason, what about you? What's on the Thanksgiving docket?
We don't have any big plans. Like 2 years ago, we had Thanksgiving at our house right before COVID.
Right.
It was like our first time being able to do that for the whole family. Last year, so this year, we're not sure what we want to do. Like, do we want to go somewhere? Like, Chris has the whole week off. CJ has the whole week off. So we're not sure yet. We're not sure.
Yeah.
It's up in the air.
Yeah, it's a great time to be alive.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna enjoy life.
Yeah, I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. If you choose to celebrate, If you don't, then
just enjoy the day off. Hopefully.
Yeah, enjoy.
I'm gonna lay around. I'm gonna lay around and watch football all day. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a big thing with the football all day. Are you guys paying attention to the baseball hot stove at all? I know I am. There's the show Hot Stove on MLB Network is back, where they talk about off-season stuff, and it's a fun show in the morning. Kareem, do you give a shit?
I did see somebody, what's his name? One of the shortstop for the Astros talking shit about Derek Jeter.
I did not see that. He is a free agent, so I'm guessing he doesn't want to go to the Marlins or the Yankees.
Yeah,
if he's talking shit about Jeter, then
yeah. He said Jeter didn't deserve any of his Gold Gloves.
You know, there are a lot of people that espouse that too, because Derek Jeter, for all of the things Derek Jeter was really good at, Derek Jeter was not necessarily deserving of the Gold Glove Award the number of times that he got it. He rode that flip play where he came in as a trailer and cut off a ball that missed the cutoff man and flipped it to get Jeremy Giambi out at the plate in the playoffs. That then became Derek Jeter, and he did that jump throw that a lot of other shortstops would just plant their feet and throw. So it became this whole thing of, it's Derek Jeter this day, because his range was not what other shortstops were. There were a lot of balls that he never got to.
What team did he play on?
Your New York Yankees.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Come on, you can't. It's difficult to claim like when you're on the Yankees.
He was the captain of the Yankees.
The bankroll that you got there, like the bank, like.
But that's not the gold. That has nothing to do with the Gold Glove. The Gold Glove is voted on.
Yeah, but who has more money? I mean, come on, they pay him off. Like, there's some backdoor stuff going in. Come on, Yankees get all that shit. Fuck the Yankees. I mean, I like the Yankees, but fuck the Yankees. Fuck off.
There were like 5 or 6 Cardinals that won Gold Gloves this year. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. So, I mean, he may have a point, but I mean,
well, you know, he wouldn't have got his ring without cheating. So, as everybody pointed out on Twitter.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into all of that. I mean, Derek Jeter is so far in my rear view.
Yeah.
That
not
2000s.
Not Jeter, the Astros guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa, who is rumored to be going to Detroit. So we'll see if that happens. He's going to be making a lot of money either way.
He is.
So all of those things, it's a great time for sports. It really is. It just absolutely is. Hockey is on. Football is on. Basketball is on. Hey, real quick, Kareem, I know you're big into the Kings.
Yes.
Why are they so goddamn terrible? Except for tonight. Because apparently word got around that Luke Walton was on the hot seat and they decided to come out and play. What's going on?
You just said it. Luke Walton.
Is on the hot seat, so now they're playing?
No, he needs to go.
Yeah, okay. How many coaches would then be on their payroll? If they hire a new one, would that be 3? Luke Walton, yeah. Aren't they still paying the last guy?
Yeah, they have a good backcourt. Harrison Barnes is playing really well. They don't have a 4.
Harrison Barnes is the 4 a lot of nights.
I know, but
I think that might be the problem.
That might be. I think that's the problem
because he's not a 4. He's a 3.
And Marvin Bagley, they've just given up on him.
Well, I mean, I remember him when he was in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. His name there was Glass Joe because the least little thing, and he's down.
Hey, and as somebody who's a Duke fan, I said during that draft, do not take him. Like, don't draft him.
Well, and they left. I mean, Luka Doncic was right there, and Luka Doncic is just fucking incredible.
Vlade. Yes, Vlade Divac and his Luka's dad have some shit going on. That's why they didn't take him.
Oh, Vlade.
But I don't know. They played good the first couple of games, and then they went back to being the Kings.
I saw opening night. They opened up in Portland. They won. They looked really good. What game was I watching? I've watched a couple of games, and man, sometimes they just look So
And
terrible.
You could actually blame the Lakers for the Kings looking like they do right now.
Are we going back to that playoff series in the early
No.
2000s now?
No. So before the Lakers traded for Russell Westbrook,
Right.
they had a trade that was pretty much about to happen that was going to send Buddy Hills to the Lakers for Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and I think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Now, those three players are now on the Washington Wizards. Guess who had the best record in the East?
The Wizards.
Exactly.
The Wizards.
The Wizards.
But you know what they don't have? Luke Walton is their head coach.
That is true.
And they I mean,
And the Wizards have a first-time head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Is Sacramento cursed? Is there a curse of, and it's and most curses come down to really terrible decisions. More than real curses, they're just based on terrible decisions that perpetuate a culture and a way of doing things that's just awful.
The Maloofs decided to, instead of keeping their distribution company, they decided to sell it, and that was the beginning of the downfall for the Kings.
And didn't they get it? Was that when they got into the casino business in Vegas?
Yeah.
So only Donald Trump and the Maloofs have managed to really do poorly in the casino business.
Yeah.
Well, good.
So that was one mistake. Then the general manager, before they let Petrie go, didn't take Giannis.
Yeah, there's just been a ton of different things. You can go back through and just look at draft choices and decisions.
Petrie wanted to take Giannis, so just imagine we could have had the Greek Freak in Sacramento.
We could have had the Greek Freak and Luka Doncic. Can you imagine how fucking good? Be a dynasty here. Even with Luke Walton. Even Luke Walton couldn't fuck that up.
Yeah. And the Greek Freak wouldn't have wanted to leave to go to a big market because he hasn't left Milwaukee. And I'm damn certain that there's more shit to do in Sacramento than Milwaukee.
It's true, unless you love cheese curds.
Yes.
And still, unless you love the cheese curds, because I mean, there's the better cheese curd.
When I hear Greek Freak in Sacramento, I can think of Petra. That's how it's like.
Anyway. So yeah, well, you know what? This was a fun, free-form show. I enjoyed this. Enjoyed it.
Yes.
So when we come back in a couple of weeks, we'll talk a little bit about Kareem's move should be done at that point.
I'll have my man cave set up by then.
We'll talk about Kareem's man cave, Jason's Thanksgiving. Did I do coke with Carrot Top in Vegas? We'll find out. Signs point to no. Thanksgiving weekend.
You shouldn't turn it down, though. I mean, listen, if Carrot Top offers you coke,
have an open mind.
Let me tell you, if Carrot Top comes up to me and says, "Hey, dude, you want to come back to my suite and do coke?" I'll consider it.
Yeah,
I'll keep an open mind toward it. You know,
keep an open mind.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
worst case scenario, you go up there and have some, free mini bar.
And the fun thing, we're really staying at Aria, so we're staying at a different hotel, one that I've never stayed at before. So yeah, it'll be a fun time. Be a fun time. Fun time will be had by all. And apparently, a car is coming to pick us up at the airport.
Wow!
So no ride share, no taxi. We're going to be rolling like ballers into Vegas.
That's some baller shit.
I may, I accentuate, may get a tattoo.
Get the fuck out of here.
I've been wanting to get a tattoo for a while. It's one of those things where I'm not a huge gambler. I'm not huge into hanging out in the casino all day. And so maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, there's plenty of places in Sac, but
yeah,
there are a lot of places in Sac.
There sure are, but
why not get a Vegas tattoo?
Well, I'm not getting a Vegas tattoo. I'm getting a tattoo in Vegas.
I mean, if you get it in Vegas, I
want to get my daughter's name tattooed on me. So
that's cool.
It's not, something like that. Yeah. My daughter and maybe my son's name tattooed on me somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know how big.
Get an RBQ as a tramp stamp.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get their names on my areolas, right on the areola, right there.
Now, if you get an RBQ as a you just have to do it right on the asshole. like the Q has to be like it's like
nay.
I tried out some Arby's a couple weeks ago, man, and like I swear to God, so like that horsey sauce, man, there's something in it. I mean, you should not be able to like not refrigerate some type of creamy horseradish sauce. Like, sorry,
dude.
Like you shouldn't be able to, you shouldn't open that up, put it on your sandwich, and like you should know
that stuff
you're gonna
has been
have some
nasty since 1989.
All right, since you mentioned asshole, I have one more thing before we go.
Oh yeah.
So
pucker up.
90-day the single life. There is a chick on there
who likes
no. Don't read ahead here. You won't get it.
Okay.
There's no way you will get this. She's 30 years old. She was on 90 Day Fiance the other way. And what she had done was she was in a relationship with a girl in Australia, and she flew to Australia to finally meet up with this girl. And it didn't go well because she's awful. We'll just leave it at that. She's awful. Anyway, so she's talking about this, and she's got a sex coach right now because she's been celibate for 2.5 years. Ooh. And she's sitting doing her interview with the camera, and she said, I realized the other day, she realized, or if someone told her, that when you're having sex doggy style as a girl, that the guy can see your butthole. And so she took a picture of her butthole, and she didn't care for it. And she doesn't want anyone looking at her butthole. If you're wondering why we watch these shows, it's little bits of gold like that.
Like, how do you not ever see your spouse's butthole? Like, well, that's like part of like,
listen,
you gotta get the yes.
She's like, they can see your butthole and they look at it.
Yeah, sometimes they put their thumb in it.
All right. And that's going to do it for another episode of the WTH Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed our tales of woe and our tales of triumph, and, of course, our tales of a thumb in the balloon knot. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great Thanksgiving if you're listening around the world. Please do that as well. If you're listening in India and you know Sumit of Sumit and Jenny from 90 Day Fiancé the other way, could you just go grab him and shake him for me? Because I don't know what that boy's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. It's a country of several billion people. And I have to imagine there's at least 100,000 named Sumit. I have to imagine that. So, I mean, if you know anyone named Sumit, just go over and shake them. Especially if they're engaged to a white lady 30 years older than them. That should narrow it. That should narrow it down. 90 Day Fiancé the other way. By the way, Discovery Plus, we're open for your sponsorship.
We actually might have a chance with them.
You know, I would. I mean, we talk about them enough, but I would bring them on just if we could do the free subscriptions for us. Commercial free, of course. They've got the multi-level. Like, there's the regular level, and then we pay extra to not have commercials. Yeah. Which, it's so worth it.
I'm telling you, like, it's worth like probably the $15 I pay to the different subscription services I have to not ever have to deal with a commercial.
Oh my God! How much is your time worth? Think of all the extra reality TV you get to watch. All right, well, for Kareem at home and Jason here in the studio, I am Nate. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you
David.
Next time on the WTH Podcast. Bye-bye.